Hey, thanks for joining us. I'm Jason, and it's Pastor Dave, and I got questions, and he's got answers. And tonight, Dave, one of the questions I wanted to ask is, we talk a lot about and the importance of the death and resurrection of Christ. But I was asked this week, between the death and the resurrection, where did Jesus spend his time? Where was he for 3 days?
Well, that's interesting. The book of Ephesians in chapter 4, he refers to he who ascended, first of all, descended in the lower parts of the earth. Isaiah 61 refers to, actually, he preached to those who were in captivity, led those in captivity out of captivity. The idea is freeing them. In Luke chapter 16, it refers to a place, an abiding place for the dead. And before Christ came, everyone, it appears, at least from Luke 16, went there. It was divided in two with a gulf that you can't cross physically somehow. And there was the unrighteous dead. And then this interesting department or area in this place of what's called Hades, or the grave in the center of the earth, is Abraham's bosom, where those who were looking forward by faith, again, by faith, just like us looking backwards, they were looking forward to the coming of the Messiah. And they went to this compartment, this area of Abraham's bosom, where they were comforted, waiting for the promise. And so it's this idea that comes from the scriptures, is that when Jesus died, he descended. He who rose again from the dead first descended in the lower parts of the earth. He went and freed those who were held in that one area of the righteous dead, in the Abraham bosom. And in Matthew 27, you meet an interesting group of people all of a sudden at the resurrection of Jesus. It says that they started seeing dead saints walking the streets of Jerusalem. You kind of scratch your head and wonder what in the world? But it was him, I believe, taking those that were held in that place, waiting for the promise. He delivered them out of that place, the center part of the earth, the place called Hades. And now, for us, at this time, after the cross, for us now, when we would pass, if we don't tarry until the rapture, we find that we now ascend immediately into the right-hand side of the Father. Paul said, for to be absent from the body is now, he refers to as to be present with the Lord. So there isn't this holding place any longer. But there was before Jesus rose again from the dead. But he emptied that when he died. He went for 3 days. It sounds as though he, with the keys and on that idea of deliverance and that freeing those that were held captive, Isaiah refers to, and delivered them. And so I believe that was a big part of all that was taking place during that time. And it all comes with a lot of conjecture, but a lot of putting the verses together. But the most amazing part to me is that we no longer wait to come into the presence of God. For to be absent from this body is to be present with the Lord. We groan, as it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, we groan waiting for this body, not to be uninhabited, walking around without a body, but to be with a body, a new body, not made with hands, that's eternal in heaven, 2 Corinthians 5. And so we immediately now go into the presence of the Lord. I believe in these glorified bodies, in the presence of the Lord, and to never again separate. And so I believe that's what Jesus was doing during those 3 days.
Well, sounds to me like he was pretty busy. Death didn't put him down. He continued on in the promise. So if you got any questions concerning this topic, add them onto this video, and we'll see what we can do about answering them. We appreciate you joining us. Thanks.